Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Women of Dance. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and I'm so happy to bring you another fabulous talent from our industry. We have a lot to talk about. I told her I got so many videos on her that it could be like a 2 hour special. So we're just going to get right to it and try to power through. This woman is incredible. She's super talented. She's got the biggest heart. I absolutely love her. She's one of my homegirls. Please welcome to the screen my guest, Melanie Castillo. What up,
Hey,
girl?
hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to have you on today. We were gushing a little bit about you last week with Jalissa, because she was my guest last week, and we got to talk about you a little bit, which was like almost the perfect segue. Um,
Uh-huh.
but she was like super amped. I mean, a lot of people were because you're really good, and
Yeah.
you've been in the game for quite some time. You've had a lot of success, so I'm really looking forward to everyone getting to know you a little bit better in your background and whatnot. So let's take it from the beginning. Why don't you tell everybody about how your dance career got started, or your dance life, I should say, got started.
Oh, yeah, my dance life, right? That's a better way of putting it because I'm like, so what do you mean when I started like dancing salsa? Because dance has been in my life for forever, for as long as I can imagine. Um, I definitely was put into official dance classes at 5.
Okay.
Um, But one of those dances was always part of my family. We always have get-togethers. And my family was definitely like, let's put some music, let's drink, let's dance the night away. It was always that environment. And we look for any reason to or an excuse to celebrate, really.
I love it.
Um, but yeah, I always loved to dance. I did the ballet, the tap, the jazz, all of that stuff, lyrical, when I was 5 at Rising Stars Dance Studio in Queens.
Okay.
And it was just like heaven on earth. I was there, like, put me there every day of the week, getting ready for recitals and
Yep.
putting together routines. But I didn't last long there because I think I was paying more attention to that than like school. And my mom was like, eh.
I feel like we've
Like,
all been there.
no.
We've
That
all
was like
been
my
there.
worst nightmare come true. I'm like, no. I've been traumatized since that day. But
Mhm. Mhm.
um,
There's
but
a support
even
group.
though
I'll
I
give you a
wasn't
good
like
therapist number.
official.
We talk about it all the time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. But after that, once I wasn't a part of the school, I was there for maybe 2 or 3 years, and I was still pretty young. But in elementary school and in middle school and high school, I was still very active in dance. Anything that I can participate in that was dance related, I was very close to my dance teachers. They knew how much I loved it, so anything dance that came their way, they like threw me in there.
Of those beginning
Um,
styles,
it was
did
a
you
lot of
have a
different
preference?
experiences, right?
Sorry, of those
No,
styles,
I
you didn't have a
didn't.
preference between the jazz, the lyrical, the
I mean, yeah, no, I definitely gravitated more to like jazzy stuff.
okay.
I love tap too. Tap was pretty awesome.
Can you still
And
tap?
yeah, elementary school was. Uh,
You
I
can?
think it's like delayed a little bit. I didn't know if you were gonna ask a question.
Oh, I was asking, can you still tap?
I remember one move that I learned in high school, and it's just in my body, and it's such a good beat. I could do, basics,
Okay.
basic little tap moves and stuff. There's just this one high school combination that I fell in love with, and like to this day, I'll just like and
Bring
it's
it back. Bring it
right.
back.
Uh, I definitely always wanted to go back in time, like what I did back in time, bring it now to my adult life, where I was just like so immersed in like different styles of dance with no purpose or end goal, but just to learn it and live it and dance it. It was freaking awesome.
Love it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So that was through high school you did all of that, and then what?
Yeah, so high school, I went to high school for dance, and that was a lot more jazz, contemporary, hip hop, a lot of that. Then I went to college, dance like stopped because my dad was like, all right, well, that was that. Time to get your degree, focus on that. Um, I went to college, I studied math to become a math teacher.
Really?
And Yes, yes, I
Okay.
love math. And it was my freshman year. Yeah, I kept hearing about this dance school. My cousin told me about it. Some random people I met at a resort in the Dominican Republic that were all from New York were like, "Oh, do you take dance classes, like salsa classes?" And I'm like, "What is this salsa class that everyone's talking about?" Like, no, I don't. I didn't know this was a thing. I don't know. And yeah, freshman year, first semester is done. I was like, you know what? I convinced my best friend at the time. I was like, let's go take a dance class.
Mhm.
And literally since that very first day, January 9th, 2009, because I will never forget that date, it was just like this whole world opened up and I was like, the bug hit me.
I love it.
And I was like, well, you're not getting rid of me now. I'm definitely going to immerse myself in this. And, it started off for fun at first because I was focused on other things. But as I became more aware of the actual community, right?
Mhm.
That's not just in Queens. That's not just in New York City, right? This is like a global thing. I was like, get out, get out. And it's so funny the timing of things because I've always wanted to be a backup dancer, right? Like to tour with an artist, like be one
Mhm.
of those dancers, just commercial dancer, different gigs, all of that stuff. But at one point, I was like, well, that's not going to happen. And with this, I'm like, okay, so this is something that's that. And then it also brings in my culture, the things that I've
Mhm.
always been familiar with since forever, that I've loved on like just a personal level, on the side,
Yeah.
family. And so I was pretty, I was like, okay, I like this. Yeah.
It's funny, you're not the first person to say this, but I feel like a lot of us growing up, we never realized that you could have a career as a salsa dancer. Like, when you thought about being a dancer, it was ballet, it was modern, it was contemporary, it was tap or ballroom, like, because 'cause you'd watch, like,
Right.
the Blackpool, they show the competitions on PBS. But the idea that you could have a
Mm-hmm.
career as a salsa or bachata dancer and travel the world, like, that was just never something that was put into our minds. Like, growing up, that was never an option for me.
Nope.
I
Let
never
alone
understood it.
salsa, right? The whole trying to be a dancer. It was like, no, that's not gonna happen. No, 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 you're gonna struggle. Yeah, da, 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 da. And I definitely understand that side of the argument coming from where my parents came from and their upbringing and their life journey. So I get that. Um, but and then salsa on top of that, it's like, okay, this is kind of the best of both worlds, that I
So
just stumbled across.
so the stumbling across, right? This first studio, what was that studio?
Lorenz Latin dance
Lorenz Latin Dance.
school. Yes. Where was that
So
in Glendale? In Glendale, yeah. Oh,
now
girl.
now, I don't know if this video was of your
Oh,
first performance, but oh, there she is.
oh, I was like 6, 7. I
It
was
took me
living.
forever to find a video where I could clearly see this was you from all this
Oh
was, I
my
think, 2009.
God. Yeah, I think that was the first year. This wasn't my first show. This was maybe third or fourth. It was that same year though. But
Okay.
I just remember work like for the first time with salsa, right? It was other than taking classes that I was like, oh, we're working on a routine, right? So this kind of brought me back to like, okay, now we're doing choreography, and I love that side of it. Well, I was in my best life with that routine. We did it so many times. Oh man.
Talk to me about that experience of being on a team for the first time, right? Getting into this
I loved
and doing
it.
that.
I'm like, okay, here we go. Because you're in a team environment, you're in a community, you guys are all working towards the same goal. And we were all like on the same level. We all started taking the same classes together. So to have that journey together as a group was number one, bomb as hell. It was so good. Um, oh, I definitely enjoyed it. I actually love being on a team.
How
I
long were
love
you
it
with
so
Lorenz
much.
for?
I want to say like 9 or 10 months.
9 or
It
10
was
months.
that year because yeah, because towards the end of that, I was like, wait a minute, they have stuff in Manhattan, they have other things,
Mm-hmm.
different styles that I was just like, ooh, I just want to go take class, and I just wanted to take class with different people, different styles, just get in the studio and like live, you know. Um, so I wasn't there long. And yeah, I kind of just slowly made my way out because I was like, okay, they did this. This is cool, but that's nice. I want to learn more about that. And yeah.
You
And I had
got a
my car at the
common.
time. I was driving. So I was like, oh, go to the Bronx, go to Uptown, go to Queens, go to Brooklyn, go to Manhattan, everywhere, everywhere.
That's so great that New York, like you had all this around, like you had so many options for your education.
Yeah. And
That's
that's something back then I didn't realize. Definitely now, not living in New York, um, I realize New York is just such a hub and a mecca, and just the
mm-hmm.
amount of options that you have there to learn from so many people. It's insane. It's insane.
So coming up next, you started a partnership with one of my favorite people.
Oh my God. That was actually for my birthday.
That
That
was
was
your
the
birthday?
first, that was a birthday. I was like, I'm performing on my birthday. And what? That was Nelson's social. That was his first one.
That was
Was
Nelson's
it
first
Soda?
social, really?
Not in New York, but at Stepping Out. Because he's
Okay.
done, I think, others before. But at that location, that was like the first night. I think it was Toda la Noche. And I think we were one of many shows, actually.
I can't get
Oh,
over
man.
Elvis's hair.
I know that. That boy loves to play with his hair. Oh, I love it.
Was this the
I
first
love
routine you
it.
two did together?
Yeah, that was the
How did this
first one.
partnership come to be?
Oh, man. Um, so me and Elvis knew each other just in the scene, just by going to socials and, always running into each other, almost like everyone else that I met in the scene. And then at one point, Sekou had invited me to his team rehearsals.
Mhm.
I've been in his classes a bunch of times. I've done some of his performance projects. And then at one point he asked me to be on the team, and I think Elvis was already on the team, along with other fabulous dancers. And I was like, yes, because those choreographies were bomb as hell. Um, so no, so we were in rehearsal,
Oh,
and it was just one night. We were. I was like, ooh,
sorry,
I
my
can't.
bad.
Now I'm watching this video. No, it's all good. At the end of rehearsal, they were videotaping me and Elvis what we learned that day for rehearsal, because we got it, we did it. So it's like, okay, let's just record you two so we have what we worked on today. And I know I was Farah, and Elvis was like, oh, we should partner up. And I was like, you joking? Like, I don't compete. I'm not doing all that. And since then, I guess based on that video, we were like, well, we don't look half bad next to each other, you know?
Mhm.
Let's try this. And oh, Caribbean song.
This was also around the same
Oh,
time.
Edwin. Girl, I was doing the most.
Yeah, that's
I was
that's
like,
why
I'm
I
gonna do
wanted
this
to like
and this
go a
and
little
this.
bit of this and that because you really were. It would seem like not only were you studying everywhere, but you were getting your feet wet with this company, training with these
Yeah.
people. I love that. I love that
The
you were
fact
from the
that
beginning like,
opportunities were coming in, I was like, yes, yes, yes. This Caribbean soul, Alex had approached me one time. He was like, oh, we realized we need 3 couples for the competition. So he had asked me last minute to come learn it. Me and Edwin learned it in like 2 days, but we learned it separately. The first day we danced together was the competition, and he was so amazing. We had so much fun doing this. This is by far my favorite Caribbean soul routine ever.
which
Not because
competition
I
was
was
it?
there, but the bachata one at the New York Congress. I think it was the first one.
Is that the one that Art of Motion went up against Caribbean Soul?
Art in Motion was there. Yeah, there was another team.
There was
Art in
three of
Motion was
us.
definitely there. Is Caribbean Soul Art in Motion? Yeah, it was another team. It was another team. So
I
like, this
remember
also
you in
like
that
just he asked
performance.
me to like join and I was like, amazing. Oh, I was living my life, living my life. And I already competed with Elvis at this point. So I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna bring it to y'all because it's a competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just the energy of dancing with these people alone, like that's not really something that you have to think about. That just comes.
I gotta
It
ask,
was
bachata or
amazing.
salsa?
Ooh, depends, right? If you want to talk about performance, if you want to talk about like in the scene and all that, definitely salsa for sure. Bachata for me, I don't know if I was ever like, oh yes, this belongs on stage. Like
Mm-hmm.
it can be done nicely, and I've seen it done nicely, but I don't know. Bachata for me was more homey than what salsa is, Salsa,
Okay.
what it's become now, and
Mm-hmm.
from where it's come from, has a fusion of so many things. It's such a history. And I'm sure as does bachata too, but bachata, I love me some bachata though. Like take me, I'm always going out and yes, I would rather dance a bachata any day
Okay.
socially. Yeah.
This was a
If I had to
competition
choose
piece
to
of yours and
perform it.
Elvis's, correct?
No, this was Orlando Salsa Congress.
No, no, not the event. I
Is
meant
that?
you used this for a
Oh,
competition, this piece.
yeah,
No?
yeah. So me and Elvis's first three pieces were competition pieces.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
because
this was
that's
at the
what we were
Orlando
focusing
Congress.
on at the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We performed it at the Orlando Congress. Oh,
When you guys work together and you
oh.
come up with routines, what is your process? Do you start with an idea? Do you start with a song? How do you two come
Almost
together
always
on
a
the
song.
routine?
Um, well, now it's different, right? 10 years later, how we do that. But I think even back then, it starts with a song. It starts with a song. At that point, because competition was our focus, it was a specific type of song, and then we would just choreograph it. But we knew that this was for competition. It wasn't because we just wanted to do this and this is what we were feeling in our hearts of hearts. And it wasn't one of those. Uh, this was definitely competition piece. And since the first routine, Elvis completely choreographed because I've never done this. I have no experience with this. So I was just like, show me, teach me, what do you need me to do? It's very much like this. This routine, since it was our second one, I was like, ooh, giving just a little ideas, right? I was like, ooh, what if we do this? What if we do this? The third routine was now more like split 50-50, you know? Because now that I had a little bit of experience, got my feet wet, coming up with ideas, I know what they're looking for, what we should be giving. Um, and I love Elvis.
It
And
seems
now,
like
yeah, now we just bounce back ideas.
it was a natural progression, your relationship with him in the sense of being able to evolve in a safe way, if that makes sense.
Honey, absolutely. Like, that's a relationship. And in all senses of the word, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a friendship, but that relationship with him, I treasure it so much
Hmm.
because even though we've had our times where he's done his thing, I've done my thing, we've come together, but we were always growing, doing different things together and apart. And the fact that we can come together 10 plus years later and just really see and feel our growth as dance partners, or not even dance partners, just as associates, right? Because we're not like, okay, we do everything together and that's it, and we're just stuck here. No, it's nice to, if we want to do a project, we can, come together and do it. If but that evolution, yeah, I'm very lucky to have that and to have had that for
That's
real.
beautiful. Speaking of evolutions, let's talk about this project right here, Las Damas.
Mm, yep,
How did this
this
project come
one.
to be? Tell us about this.
Wait, we always used to talk about this because I was in Nina's house one time and we were just talking. I know Patty was there. And I think they approached me about like, oh, we're doing a routine. I don't know if they asked me to be a part of it or if I was like, can I do this? Can I be a part of this? Because it's gonna be so badass. So I don't know if I volunteered myself because I was there when they were having the conversation. I don't remember. where they're like, oh, if you want to do it, like inviting me in. But I was like, yes, powerhouses. This is, and again, did bachata. That's something different, right? I have a competitive partner. That was different. Now this is like a ladies thing, right? So for me, all these different experiences and working with different people was just so important, It wasn't
Absolutely.
like I had three different partners. I wasn't on five different salsa partner work teams, right? So I try to, whatever projects I did get myself involved, they had to be different because
Okay.
each experience is completely different and requires something different of me, right?
Do you
So
think that you get that
I just
desire from your upbringing in terms of doing the various styles as a child?
probably, I mean, for me, I'm just like, well, as long as I get to dance, I'm happy. In what
Yeah.
context that was, that always changed. Um, but here, I've always admired people that did a lot of different things, right? And were able to show themselves in different hemispheres, let's say, right? I
Yeah.
love that.
Who
And
did
this
the
is one thing I was
choreography
like,
for these
I
routines?
want to
Did you
do a
guys come
ladies.
up with them together or?
Yeah, this was all three of us. We just did different parts, different sections, all of that. Oh, I loved it.
Always
Mm,
a good time.
that
It's
was the
definitely
first
a different
memory.
experience doing a ladies team than it is a partner work team versus just a solo couple. Like it's a different vibe. It's just
Oh,
a different vibe
yes. It is
completely.
such a different vibe. Yep. With the girls' routine, especially, okay, I feel like I'm dancing with my homies. Number one, the spotlight isn't on me, which actually makes me feel a little safer and a little more comfortable to just like throw down. Like, I don't really care. And it's definitely a vibe and an energy that I feel that
Hmm.
I love and run with, as opposed to doing like a competitive piece with a partner where it's like, you each play your roles. You each got to come together. It's just two of you up there. That for me felt like 10 times more pressure. Oh, shit! Oh my God. Let me
Here's
tell you, I was
another
doing the
collab you
most.
did.
I was doing the most. Yes. That was fun too. Gary's super cool. I
How did
always
you,
loved him and Ileana. I was like, oh, I love you guys. Love
how
it.
did
This
this
was
end up happening?
I think he just needed a partner for an event that he was contracted for. And he asked me to do it. I was like, dude, let's do it. And then this opportunity to perform it again came. So we're like, okay, let's do it. I went actually there and I was like, let's do it because I was there with Caribbean Soul. I was like,
Hmm.
boom. That was kind of like last minute that we decided to do it there.
I'm trying
Because
to remember if
oh
it
my
was the
God.
same
I
year
just
that AIM was there and Darlin startled Alex outside.
oh
And
yes.
was it this event?
Hmm.
Girl, I
I
still laugh
remember
about
Darlene being there.
that.
Yeah. Girl, I was so
Darlin's really good at scaring people.
I be cringing at these videos. Like I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I did this, I did that, and okay. And I'm like, oh,
Listen, but here's the thing, right? Yes, we all have videos that we look at, and sometimes we're like, oh my God, why is that online? But first of all, there's nothing for you to be embarrassed about. You look badass here, number one.
yeah.
Number two,
Oh no,
it's great for us to see our evolution. You know what I mean? And for others to see it.
right. I do agree.
No, none of us
Yeah,
came out
I
of the
I
room
agree.
Susie queuing and doing triple spins. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like it all took time. And I
Yes,
think that's important
exactly.
for
I
viewers to
completely agree with
see.
that. That's kind of what like my YouTube has become. It's kind of been just like my photo album or video album of just from when I first started. And I've always thought about it, oh, I need to delete this, I need to take this out. But I was like, you know what? No, because people should and need to know, but also I do too. Like, girl, you progress and you evolve and you learn. And it's
Absolutely.
that for anyone is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Back to you and Elvis
Oh,
again.
that was our third one. This show, the music went out like towards
Really?
the end. Yeah. And we finished the routine, and in my head, I was like, the joke was I was so happy when that happened because I'm like, ooh, we're gonna like take the our speed like a little down, like we can relax and finish this nice and comfortably and be like, bam.
I love it.
I was like, oh, thank God, because
The
we can't
things that
stop.
we
Once
deal
you
with.
started, we just gotta go,
Yeah.
girl.
What's the
I
craziest
love
thing that's
it.
ever happened to you during a
I
performance?
oh, probably the craziest thing was the show I did with Ismail in Cape Town, South Africa.
Really?
That there was something wrong with the music. Nobody knows. The track kept skipping. How? I don't know because I don't think it was a CD. And the music just would never come back. And they took us off stage. They took us off. We went back on to see if, but it was audio malfunctions with everyone. Then we got back on stage. The song started to skip again. And we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna keep going. And I just like followed Isma. I'm like, all right, whatever you do, I'm gonna do. And the music like jumped right back in, and Isma like landed right where we were supposed to in the choreo. It was like epic. Everybody
Oh
started
my
going
God.
crazy. And I was just like, wow. I was like,
Oh
but
my
we did
God.
that. We did that.
The
Oh.
things people just don't know what artists sometimes deal with, like the shit that happens live.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, this video. It was like, yeah,
I love your
this is
costumes, by the way. Who did them?
Anya helped me with all of the costumes. The first one, I think all three of them actually.
Really? I could see that
Yeah.
on inspiration in there.
Oh yeah.
I could see
And I
that,
suck at
absolutely.
costumes too. I was like, girl, whatever you think, like that's boom, that's what we're doing. Good, yeah. Not my department.
Oh, I send her stuff all the time, like, "Hey, what do you think of this?"
I love her
I did
designs.
find one performance of just you and Ismail. It was not from that event, though, so it's not
Ah.
that one. It is from Salsadura, though.
Oh, this one. This was very short lived.
This was very
Very short
short-lived.
lived. Yeah, we did it. I want to say maybe twice. This was probably the second time we performed it, and that's it. It didn't go anywhere. Because honestly, there was like a shift where he wanted to focus more on the team.
Okay.
So that's when I think because we got Desiree to be for sure in there. I think he was putting Jose in the mix. So he's like, now I have a team to work on or to
Okay.
work with, actually. And then we just focused on the team routines. This was like an in between thing from because I only did bachata with Caribbean soul before this. And then we just did this for like 2 shows. I guess he needed a partner. But then after that, he got people together to do a team. And so he just did the team.
What's it like working with Ishmael?
I was like, oh, I love it. Ismail is very like, okay, so do whatever you want to do whatever you feel, he does some things that I'm like, what did you just do? But they be feeling really good. And I'm like, okay. It's definitely thinking outside the box with Ismail. I
Mhm.
love that with Ismail, I was kind of forced to just look inside myself and make it work, you know? And it was honestly, that's what Caribbean Soul instilled in me the most. Like everything that I have learned or trained in or practiced before then, it felt like all those roads led to being on that team because there wasn't like do this like this, do this like this, or this is how you do it. It was kind of like figure it out, do it, and get it done.
So
So I had to go in my little
essentially,
box of
he
okay,
lets your artistry grow to another level.
yeah, yeah,
I
hmm
love that. I could see
yeah.
that. There's
That
a
was
lot
it.
of strong women that have come out of Caribbean Soul when you look back at the history of the company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, talk about a
Yep.
powerhouse lineup of women that have come out of there. And I think a large part of it is
Yeah.
what you said in the sense of him giving you guys the opportunity to find yourselves within his company.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
think
he's
that's
very much like, oh, that's how you're doing that? Boom, keep it, do it. Yeah, live it, show it. Like that's what he wants to bring out of you for sure. And I appreciate, like, I definitely did appreciate that so much, which was a completely like 180 from competing, where it's
hmm
like, you have to do this like this. You need to think about this. You need to, right? There's so many things that you get inside your head about, and then you're put into a situation where it's like, do you? And what is you, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. This is when you already had Desiree and Alex. This was the
Yeah.
formation of the new team, if you will.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
For those of you
I
that
loved
saw
it.
the episode that I had with Desi, some of these videos might be familiar. I tried really hard not to show the same videos because I knew you were going to be coming
Mhm.
up on the show. And I was like, I got to save these ones. I'm going to put these in the Desi playlist. I'm going to put those in the Mel playlist so everyone could see something a little
Actually, I'm
different.
lying. I know I said the first one was my favorite. This one's my favorite. This was my favorite bachata corrido that I did with Caribbean Soul. The first one
Really?
was dope and fun, but this one, ooh, it's just like the song was cute, like what we were doing and how we were moving to it. I was like, oh, I could get into this. This is nice. You know,
I
nothing
love it. This
feels
was such a
forced or
great
like
routine.
unnatural. Yeah, so great. Unfortunately, I never wore the right underwear with that costume. I can never find the right one. I'm like, oh, I gotta wear this because I'm like this with my body. I'm not
The
a
things that
showy
we
like
have to
yes,
worry
fly
about.
every. Someone needs to make. If anyone's looking for like a business idea, make great like dance underwear. you know,
For sure.
different shades, different styles. Because let me tell you, I struggled to find. You know, they can't, especially with this kind of costume. I'm like,
Yep.
ugh. But dancing it, my favorite.
Such a
And
party.
Caribbean Soul too. Like we performed so much that I love the experience that I had growing with each routine, right? Because
hmm
you know, with Elvis, I didn't get that too much because it was like getting ready for the next competition. So we weren't really growing the routine and getting ourselves like really in there. With Caribbean Soul, I feel like I was able to do that with a lot of our routines. And that's an experience that I don't think I've ever had before.
Okay.
Yeah, over
Who
time.
did these costumes for Caribbean Soul?
Debbie picked most of them out. That one, I don't know if she picked that one out. Oh my God, fantasy, living my best life. I was like, okay. She Desiree did. If they were made, yeah, she would make them,
Okay.
or we would buy something and she would like edit them. But yeah, she. I'm not costume. Please don't put me in charge of costumes. That goes horribly.
You said this was you living
ah,
your best life.
that was a fun night.
Let's go back. Let's talk about that little video real quick before I go to what's next. That you just saw you on a stage dancing and you said living your best life in Switzerland. Tell us about that.
Yeah. First of all, that was always that backdrop. Okay, can we talk about how like famous that backdrop is in like YouTube videos and you're looking up salsa shows or people talk about salsa congresses? I mean, at least for me, when I was doing my research, that Switzerland backdrop and all the shows that have happened there, I'm like, I need to go there one day. I need to go there. Um, no, it looked huge. It looked grand, and it was just such a standout. Um, and so we got to go to that event, which was that was already part one of living. I was like, yes, 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 yes. We didn't perform there. We went there
Oh,
just to go in the Congress because we were in the area. So boom,
okay.
that was cool.
It was just
Um,
in the area.
we were, we were, we were there hanging
Oh,
out.
I was just in the
Did we
neighborhood.
perform?
Switzerland.
Yeah, because we went to Spain and then we went to Zurich. It was a little Caribbean soul trip that we did.
That's
That was fun.
awesome.
hmm
That's really,
Uh,
really awesome.
and that I don't even know. Ron, yeah, asked me to get on stage and dance, and me on stage, live music. That's all I need. That's all I'm working towards. Just not by myself. Oh yes. Oh, we love that song.
This was a beautiful routine.
We worked really hard on that routine.
How long was
Really,
Jose
really
on the
hard.
team at this point?
Jose was already with Isma on the performance team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was there for a year or two. I don't remember, to be honest. But I know that Isma had invited him to do the bachata team, and then saw how, like, he had good work ethic and how he was just like there and he showed up and everything. And so when we were ready to do a salsa routine, he put me with Jose. Isma never did this routine
Really?
because Jennifer wasn't on the team. He only had them to do it. Isma never did this routine. Choreographed it, yeah. Directed us through it and everything. But that was a good one. Oh, that costume too.
So
The
beautiful.
little Kim outfit. But Desi
The
did all
little
that.
Kim
She did that
outfit?
all by herself. Someone had made a meme because she has an outfit that looks similar to that. Talk about how she's an ex-Caribbean Soul member.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
Somebody
funny.
find that meme and post it in the comments, please. I
Please.
beg you, please find it and post it on the comments. I'm
Yeah.
dying to see it. Oh, I'm so dying to see it.
Oh,
You also did
that
another
was good. So I was like,
collaboration.
props to Desi. She pulled that dress out
Oh, her costumes
and
were
it was real
beautiful.
cute.
Absolutely beautiful. You
Mm-hmm.
did a little
Oh,
collab with
Brian, we
Brian.
did a pro-am. Yeah, Brian was on my team. So I had my team at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the only one interested in doing a pro-am. I was like, let's do it. This I choreographed completely by myself. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this and feel it out. And it was my first time doing a pro-am,
Okay.
choreographing a pro-am. Oh.
Get it, girl. Talk to me about
Okay.
forming your
But
team.
we have fun. My team, I love them. Basically, I was working at a dance studio in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only instructor there, so I was doing everything. And the owner wanted a team, and he knew dancers in the area that he thought were good and that would be interested to do the team. And I was like, boom, let's do it. So I choreographed it. It was all for the studio.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I didn't stay at the studio. They didn't really get along with the owner and they kind of left. And I was still teaching there. But they're like, we still want to work with you and whatever. So I think me and Elvis were going to put a team together, but then that didn't happen. So I was like, they were still there. I was like, if y'all want to do something, let's do it. You know? I have, so that was all like, okay, let me get experience now choreographing for a team and directing a team and, you know,
How'd you
but it
come up
was
with the
very
name?
much, oh, that's a good question. I don't remember. Um, I don't know. I just wanted something to like represent that fire, like everything that I believe in and want to see and just think of when it comes to salsa. Like that's where Candela came from. I definitely know I wanted it to be like short and cute, one word. Um, and yeah, I don't know how I came up with it, but I thought about it. I was thinking of different words that I just wanted to describe the style that I like or what I want to portray when it comes to salsa dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, and that came up.
Well, let's talk about Melanie Castillo y su Candela. This
We
was
had to make it
Capitol
Melanie Castillo
Congress.
Candela because now there's Candela everywhere. So I'm like, I can't just be Candela now because that's everywhere. I'm like, let's make it like a 80s merengue band, right? Where you had da 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 y su tombaba, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like we're doing that. That was the first girls group. Well, no, this is Lupita. Yeah, we competed to this. And yeah, I used the girls that were on my team, which at the time were two other girls. It was Clem and Jewel. Jewel couldn't make this show, so we just did it, us two. And this
What
number,
happened?
I was just trying to do it everywhere. Wanted that what?
I said, it happens. Sometimes the show goes from 3 to 2 and you make
Mm.
do.
Oh yeah, yeah, you have to. Because I definitely wanted my team to just be about learning choreography, really showing yourself through choreography and taking as many opportunities we can to perform, right? Not just to get my work out there, but I know that in my journey I did that so much and that's helped me tremendously, right? And you
Mhm.
learn as you go, you
Absolutely.
know. Um, but I always wanted them to have similar experiences to what I did,
I love the look of your costumes for your
but
team.
differently.
Like, I always love what the
Ah,
girls come out in.
this was purchased on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of like just buying something, bedazzling it, boom.
You should see what
Yeah.
I'm working on right now with my newest costume. It's the same thing. You buy something, you make a little alteration, then you just add all the stones.
Yeah, and this was fun. I fell in love with that skirt, and I was like,
I
this skirt
love
is
the
fun.
skirt.
I want to feel fun in what I'm wearing so that I can just like let it all go when I'm dancing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love it.
and it's very different from like, the thongs and the asses. And I'm like, that's nice. I ain't got the body for that. But I could be cute and fun.
Speaking of
Oh.
cute and fun, hello, Gold.
First of all, okay, so this costume, that was a whole new experience for me. I forgot the lady's name. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But I took it to this lady that I was referred to, and she works on ballroom costumes. So she designed it. She picked I gave her complete control of this. I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, I just know I don't want to dress. And she gave me this. First of all, she came in, she listened to my song, she drew a sketch, she did everything with me. And I loved it. She bought the material. I had like 3 fittings, each within a week of each other. She had it done in like a month, and the only thing I did was just add some rhinestones, and that's it. But this is
Okay.
like the best constructed costume I've ever had in my life. I love it.
Talk about
I
doing
love
solo
it.
work.
Ooh, solo work. It's something I think deep down I've always wanted to do and experiment with and learn from. Um, it's not my go-to because I don't consider myself a soloist at all,
Okay.
but I feel that it's important to give myself the space and experience of doing something for me, by me, just that. And it's uncomfortable as hell sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because especially in this stage, I'm still trying to figure out who I am, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like,
Absolutely.
okay, I can do this, I can do that, but now I have the chance to like be as vulnerable as I can. That's not easy. That's not
Do you do
easy.
your own choreography for solos, or do you get someone to choreograph for you? Because I've had people
Yeah.
come on and say they like to do their own choreography so they can feel it themselves, and others that have said, I ask somebody to do it for me so that they push me and I don't play it safe. So,
Right,
what's your
right.
process for it?
I no, I have to choreograph it myself because
Okay.
part of me is kind of like if I'm being introduced as me and this is my work and I'm putting myself in this, then I need that to be the case from like the beginning, you know.
Got it.
And again, it's gonna serve as a learning situation for me, a learning experience. If I want to learn somebody else's choreography, I can go take their class, you know. Or if I need to outsource, if I'm doing a choreography that includes elements of stuff that I actually really don't know, then maybe. But if I'm doing a solo and it's not a competition solo, right? It's not anything like that. It's me
Mhm.
to its fullest. So I kind of want that to be the case and learn from that. I love this cape. I was living my best life in that cape. That was a dress,
That
right?
was
And
a
then I had
dress?
someone make it a leotard, right?
What?
Yeah, the top was the same. So the top wasn't altered, but it was just like a little, skin tight dress. It's short as hell. I was like, can you make this into a leotard? Because, yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. It was very cool. I remember being like, seeing it and being like, she's wearing a cape. They have capes on. This is
I
amazing.
loved it. Yeah. It was
Only
long
time I
sleeve.
ever
I
got to wear
love
a cape
that.
was the Matador
Like,
routine.
right, right, right.
And I was a cape.
I'm like, oh, this is a different type of, because the movement of it, like,
Hmm.
that's a nice feeling to have. Always
For
important to
sure.
have some element of movement for sure in the costumes. And it not only looks good, but it feels good.
Oh, for sure. It
Yeah.
looks really good. And it definitely gives something different that you just don't usually see, for sure.
Right. That's another thing that has been instilled in me from working with Caribbean Soul and Ismail. It was just like different, 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 different. Be different. Be you. You are different. Different, different.
Love it.
Um, I'm like,
Do you
okay,
have
so whether it's the music I
conversations?
choose,
Do you have conversations on stage
so
with your team members?
no, because
Because
then I'll
Jalissa was telling us
forget
last
the
week
next
how she'd be
part.
talking about everything on
Oh,
stage with her people.
Julissa, yeah, no, Julissa will be like, "How's your day? What's going on? Are we doing this?" Yeah, yeah, she's for sure, and I love that. And then sometimes if I start to laugh, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck up this choreography right now. Like, oh,
So there's no talking between
you
you
get
and
the
your
little
dancers on stage.
ballets and baba with our eyes,
Talking with your eyes.
with
Love
our
it.
eyes and faces. Yeah.
Love it. We're back to you and Elvis. Your pink lady
Oh, take
costume.
two. Elvis and Melanie. Oh, love this. Oh, that song, that costume.
That costume.
Mm-hmm.
That costume was everything. I love even with the heart on the butt.
So that heart on the butt came from my gold costume because on my gold costume, you can't really tell, but I also have she did a stitching that like really goes with my body and it looks like a heart. And so for that, I'm like, oh, let's be intentional about it. Let's rhinestone that heart on this costume.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
I
This was
remember
a good
you
number
called
too.
this your pink lady
Yeah,
inspired
so
look.
uh-huh. We were definitely greasing it for this.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I was living my best Andy life. I love it. And that
And this
song
was
too.
this was
Yeah,
like
that's what I love
round
about
two
Elvis
of the
too, because I'm
partnership
always
with
like, I want to
Elvis.
do a song. Right. So at this point, I wasn't with Caribbean Soul anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't with Caribbean Soul. I had my team, and I was doing Las Damas
Yes.
with Nino. So we got with him. So we're like, okay, let's do, because I don't think he wanted to compete anymore. So again, we kind of found ourselves like looking what to do next, and we're like, okay, let's work on something. And after all this time, this should definitely be a completely new and different experience, which will be super, super nice.
I love it.
Yeah. And he was actually making his team too during that time. That was
Yes.
cool.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Do you find being a team director to be overwhelming or like would you rather stay being a team director or just working solos or like where do you see yourself continuing moving forward?
Where do I see myself moving forward? Um, I do like directing a group.
Okay.
I do like that. Um, so I feel like I will always do that, even if it's in a small, very small sense. I do love being a dancer on the team where I am not the director and I'm being show the court. That's the thing. I've done all these different things to
You
like
have.
be like, okay, which one sticks? Or which one is my favorite? Or which one am I the best at? And the older I get, the more I realize I love doing them all,
Yep.
and I don't think I'm ever going to stop, to be honest. Maybe like the environment in which I do it might be different. The people who I decide to work with, that might change. The capacity to which I do all these things might change. But I think I'm going to forever, direct something, be a dancer as a part of something, you know, do do a solo work, you know, I just have to check in with myself, right? Be like, you still here, girl. So
I love that. I love that that's your answer. We don't have to do just one thing. Nobody needs to limit themselves to just one thing.
no,
And
no,
you're proof of it. Like you
no.
can have
I
this
actually used to get
partnership, dance with
criticized for
this
that a
team,
lot.
run your own team. That like you're doing it all.
I I used to get criticized for that a lot. And again, I completely understand that side of the argument because, and you do see it, you know, now a lot too, because I feel like before my time in the salsa scene, things were very much like, you know, you run with your team, you stay with your team, you're not doing five different projects, number one. You're not on all these different teams or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it was different. And when I got into it, I just never found a home, to be very honest with you.
Really?
So I'm like, well, I gotta create my home. Yeah. Like Caribbean Soul is probably the closest thing to me having something for that long. But even through Caribbean Soul, I was doing my solos. I had my team. I had Las Damas. You know, I was still doing my thing.
Yeah.
Um, So, because it's not like I was a student of Ismael's that I started with him from the bottom up and I just stayed there, right? That's a different uh, journey and pathway.
Yeah.
I really didn't have that, to be honest. I had here, learned and did my time, learned and did my time, learned and did my time. But deep down, I wanted to. I wanted to find one place that I'm like, I'm fulfilled here, right? And that wasn't the case.
This
Different
was
things fill my cup.
this is one of the things that fills your cup. This was a collaboration you and Elvis finally did. You
Oh,
guys did some collabs.
finally, it took long enough, but we did a routine that's meant for a team together. You know,
Mhm.
we taught it together, we choreographed it together. It wasn't a competition piece. It wasn't just for us. So this was actually a lot of fun. Like that
And
was
the one that
really,
I
really
showed
good.
before this was also an Elvis and Melanie collab, the hustle piece
Yes,
that I
that's
saw. And it
another
was done
one.
as a team too, right?
Yeah. So that one we did it for us, and we were
Mhm.
like, "Yo, why don't we just teach it to you? Have a team, I have a team. Let's bring them together and just teach it to them." And we did it a few times with them. That was a lot of fun. And I just remember everyone on my team and everyone else was like, "Finally, we're all working together." Yeah. And we're like, "We know, we know."
So then this probably felt very organic to do it from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's the thing. We started off competing. So we weren't putting our focus and efforts into doing other projects and stuff. It was just like this. And
Mhm.
I've always told them, I was like, can we do like a non-competition piece and still work on a competition piece? But you know, the amount of time that you put like working towards those competitions, you know it. You
Yep.
know, it's like that needs to be your focus and that's it. You gotta be very tunnel vision with that.
I take from a lot of what
But
we've been talking about and the tone, it seems if I ask the question, what do you prefer competition or performing? Your answer is performing.
for sure, for sure. But let me tell you, doing competitions, I love the fact that I had that experience. I love the fact that I did it
Mhm.
for a few years and did different kinds of competitions, right? Like the competitions I did with Elvis, it felt like there was a lot more at stake. You know, the preparation was a lot serious. I did competitions with Caribbean Soul too.
Mhm.
For some reason, maybe because I was doing it on a team and not as like a solo partnership, the pressure didn't seem as much. And to be honest, it was bachata. So I was like,
You're funny.
um, yeah, that's, but the, yeah, competition, how you work and prepare for it, I love that. Because I also like that too. I like the going hard. I like the paying attention to details. I like the understanding what you're doing. And, you know, at the end, you come out with this beautiful piece.
Yes. Agreed.
Um, just the attitude towards preparation is, I love that. Oh, I love this solo.
I love the costume
Yeah. So
and the
this
solo.
one, I'm already. Uh-huh. I, I was like, I need to do another solo since that gold one. And it's been a while. I don't do like a new solo every year.
Hmm.
But I was like already dancing different, feeling myself differently. So I'm like, let me see now where I am, what I like, how I want to move, how I can express the music the way I like to. That was this routine.
I
That's
love
when I
it.
performed a lot too. I was like, yep, yeah, do another one.
Your shines are always so badass. I mean, legit. I said this to you when we had our little pre-interview thing. I said if I was to just do a video playlist of all the shines you've taught and all these, like, it would be a whole show by itself because you're so good at footwork and what you hear in the music. There's just, I
Yeah,
mean,
footwork is has always been my jam with
and you
salsa.
can tell it's your jam. Like
It's my
it's so
jam.
good. I
That
mean,
was something that was very new to me when I started taking classes. Like, cause I understood salsa music and how we follow it and whatever. But when I started to go to Lorenzo and now we're learning these shines, I was like, ooh, this footwork, this is cute. Kind of gave me a little reminiscent of tap, with the footwork and the intricacies of it. Um, and I've always been a fan of just straight up footwork.
hmm.
Yeah.
So I see that you have a workshop coming up, a on two live shines workshop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
coming up July 18th. Why don't you
No.
tell everybody about it, where they can sign up, how they can train with you?
Okay, well, first of all, you have my handles here. You can always contact or reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. But I do have my website, which is kind of like a one, you just go there, everything is there, melaniecastillo.com.
Yes.
Yeah, there's information about the class. You can pay for the class there. All the instructions are there. So if you want to reach out to me, learn anything about me, you just go to my website, melaniecastillo.com. And that's a live class that I do every month
Okay.
on Facebook in a private group. So, and it's related to footwork and timing. The focus is footwork, not body movement, not styling, just understanding how we can use footwork and really incorporate it into our social dancing.
I love
And I
that.
feel like I get asked that a lot, and people like kind of don't know where to go, where to start.
Hmm.
So that's what these classes are meant for.
Love it. And I've taken one of your online classes and it was a workout. It was a workout. It was quite a sweat, but I loved it. It was so much fun. So, guys, if you get a chance, please do yourself a favor and check out her footwork classes. I promise you, you will not regret it at all.
Yeah,
So, Mel, I know you're
I'm
down in
already
Florida now,
sweating. You're
which
there for.
which means you're so far away.
Yeah.
You used to be a quick train ride up
At
away
least
from
I'm
me,
still
and
on the
now
East
you're like,
Coast.
at least you're
Yeah.
still, yes, at least you're still on the East Coast. Thank God for that. But are you going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
coming back to New York anytime soon?
Mm, I mean, I might go visit for like a weekend and hang out and go see my peeps. Going back to live there. I mean, I've been since COVID, everything has just been like, okay, this is just temporary. Okay, this is just temporary. And that in between is gets to my head and drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty okay living here. And if I have to make frequent, trips to New York, I have no problem with that. Living in New York though, I'm like, okay, I did that. I'm in a new environment, which is forcing me to do things completely different than what I'm used
For
to.
sure.
And I love that. I'm a Gemini, so I get excited with new and like, new things. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna live there. If the opportunity happens or I find myself in a place that I can, I I don't mind going back to New York. I love New York. There's no place like it,
I
really.
have to ask because we're talking about New York real quick, and you're the first person I've had on the show since the movie came out. You were in the
Mm,
movie In the Heights.
I was.
Can you
Oh
just
yeah.
I cried watching all of you in it. I think I watched the dance featurette more times than I've watched the movie because I'm just constantly watching all of you. Like, those are my friends. I'm so proud. Yeah,
That whole experience was just one of my dreams come true, you
for
know?
sure.
And to top that off, it was with a bunch of people I knew, a bunch of people like from the scene. Like that was the icing on the cake. Having all those people in the same room,
Mhm.
working on the same thing. I'm like, I've arrived. I'm here. Yes, yes, this is what I want. Can we do this? Like,
I love it.
it was good. It was
Well,
so good. It
congratulations
was so good.
for that.
Thank
That really
you.
that was so amazing seeing you all up there. Congratulations on all the success that you have achieved. Like I said, there's so many. We didn't even.
Thank
I don't
you.
think we've got through half of the videos, so I might have to bring you back for a part two. And we'll just keep shooting the shit and talking about you and your amazing career. But I want to
Yes.
thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for being an example. Like I said, you've shown a lot of us that you don't have to do just one thing. You don't have to be just one type of dancer. You don't have to be just part, like you can have an identity for yourself and be part of other things. So I feel like you've created a blueprint for a lot of us in that sense. So for that, I'm personally very appreciative.
Mm.
And I thank you so
Oh,
much
thank
for
you.
that.
That's so nice. Oh.
So before we wrap it up, uh, I ask everyone the same question. If there's any one piece of advice that you could give to women trying to make it in this business, what would that piece of advice be?
Hmm. Okay. I had time to think about this. I came up with 57 answers. So we're gonna go with this one. um Everyone's journey is different and everyone's
Mhm.
path is different, right? Considering that. And there is no right or wrong, there is no better and bad. There's none of that, right? What I will say, and what I think is important, that whatever you do, I just think it's important to allow your journey, or just allowing the process of
Mhm.
everything to help you get more in tune with you, with like yourself.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure a bunch of people say the same thing and can agree that dance is such like an expression of life. Like there's so many similarities between the two,
Mhm.
right? And if you're choosing to do dance and make this work for you, it's a commitment and it's an investment of your time and your energy and your works and your efforts. And if you love to dance, all that should really do is actually bring out the best in you. So just to allow yourself to tune yourself in. Yeah, it's so hard to explain. I'm so like out there with it.
We get it.
But
I get what you're saying.
I've learned so much about myself and
Yeah.
grown so much as a person because of everything that I've done throughout the years, the environments that I've been in, the people I've met, the experiences that I've had, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and I think that allows me to get closer and closer to understanding who I am, right? And, working towards transpiring that through dance, right?
Yes.
Because everybody's an individual, everyone's different,
Very
and it's a
true.
beautiful thing. It's like, you know, this is a diverse scene. It's a very colorful scene with different personalities and different styles and different, because it's very
Mhm.
easy to get caught up in something and that's where you're going, where it's like, you're more than that. That can be a part of you, but that's not you,
Yeah.
right?
I love
So,
it. That's really great
and then
advice.
that helps you show up for yourself in anything that you do.
That's
Um,
beautifully said. Thank you. Thank
mm,
you so much for being
Thank
my guest. I
you.
love you. You're amazing.
This is super awesome.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Join me next week, where in preparation for the World Salsa Summit, we have on our show one of the founders,
Ooh, yes.
Katie Marlowe. So join us
Oh,
next
yes,
week live at 1
Katie.
p.m. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov. Thank you again so much for tuning in. This has been Women of Dance. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.